Whew. Well, hello everyone. A lot of news has come out from The Last Jedi in just a little bit of time here. Man, there's a lot to get into here. So the Empire magazine article has come out, about 8 pages of stuff with some new pictures. I'll be honest with you, the pictures are not exceptional. I didn't like the cover with the mechanical hand. It just looked too bland to me. Some other pictures with Mark Hamill and Ray, but it's all generic, and I say that in the nicest way possible. It's all generic type stuff. But there are some quotes from Rian Johnson and Mark Hamill himself, which is actually funny because I said that because Hamill himself is his Twitter handle. There are some interesting quotes and some stuff about these guys. So what I did, this whole video is just going to be me reading stuff from the Empire article. I really struggle reading it. I like it reading out loud, so bear with me here if this is terrible. So let's jump in here. I'm just going to read some of the things that they were talking about during the Empire article, give you what the answer from Rian Johnson or Mark Hamill was, and we will go from there. We'll talk about it. Please enter your comments down below because I love seeing what you guys have to say about all this stuff. It's very interesting that this Star Wars is really a community, and I have to know what you guys think when I'm doing these videos because I want to know what you think. It's interesting. There's so many theories and so many things that could have happened in the Star Wars universe in the past, present, and future. We don't know, but it's interesting to see what you guys think. So let's go ahead and jump on ahead to the first part of the article. So let's read. The most tiresome question Johnson receives must be about who is in charge. Who is really in creative control of these films? Skeptics assume it's nothing more than Disney suits ultimately making the call, but Johnson, though likely tired of answering the question, knows how important it is, especially now with recent events, to make it clear his experience in creating this film was no different than anything he has done before in regards to control and freedom he had. The perception of these films, this is his quote, the perception of these films is that they're all planned out on a secret sheet of paper in advance, but that is just not the case. I wasn't given an outline of where it goes or even a list of things to hit. It really was just, okay, what's next? Johnson did not dictate his story outline and said he quietly, literally asked himself open-ended questions, limiting the restrictions on where he could take these characters, old and new. This is another quote from him, from Rian Johnson. I had a couple of keynote ideas and I just started freedom writing with each of these characters. What do I know about them? Where do I want to see them go? What would be the toughest thing each of them could be faced with? I started this big document that ended up growing and growing, and eventually a through line started to become clear. That is fascinating to me because I'm one of the people that just assumed that like Disney, when they started doing the new Star Wars films, they go, we're starting here, we're ending here. However it takes you to write the film from here to here, it's all up to you, but you have to hit here to get to here. That's what I thought. Apparently, according to Rian Johnson, that is not correct, that they are very into having creative control. But I think the issue that we're running into with all the directors being fired is it's creative control as long as it fits in the Star Wars universe. With the Lord and Miller catastrophe that happened with the Han Solo film, I think they were making it too much of a comedy, and Lucasfilm didn't want Harrison Ford and Han Solo to be looked at as like a joke. I was hearing even things that they were saying that they could compare it to Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. That's completely ridiculous and not what you want from a Star Wars film. But it's interesting to see that if Rian Johnson is telling the truth, which I have no reason to not believe him, he seems very open and very artistic. And I think if he wasn't being treated in the way he wants to be treated, he would have either stepped aside or would be telling people. So I believe what he's saying here, and it's interesting that they are just kind of letting people who they trust, minus Colin Trevorrow and Phil Lord and Chris Miller, do what they want to do inside the Star Wars universe. That's very interesting to me. Let's continue on with the article here. This is talking about Kanto Bite, the casino planet, on a new planet called Kantonetia. I think that's how you say it. I haven't heard it yet. I've only read it, so if it's not the proper way to pronounce it, my apologies. I hate when people say things wrong, so if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. I want a new environment. This is Rian Johnson talking again. I want a new environment that was dunking your head in a cool bath of water, right in the middle of the movie. Apart from the prequels, all the touchstones that make something feel Star Wars involved griminess and dirt. I wanted something completely different. I thought, what would Monte Carlo of the Star Wars universe look like? He said it's like Mos Eisley, but they're all rich jerks. as opposed to slimy underworld guys. They're actually worse. They're slimy underworld guys wearing tuxedos and driving yachts. I like that description of Kanto, but I think that's very cool, very interesting. I don't know really what to expect from this scene. I think it might just be a minor thing that you get. I don't think it's going to be a focal point of the film, but it's interesting either way. If it is or if it isn't, who knows? But I'm excited about Kanto Bite. I don't know what to expect. So anything I don't know what to expect, I'm excited. Continuing. This is not Rian Johnson. I'll let you know when it's Rian Johnson. Everybody's asking what we will expect to see from Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi after his brief but muted yet powerful cameo in The Force Awakens. Johnson asked himself the same questions when he was developing the story. Quote, who is Luke Skywalker? But more than that, who is Luke Skywalker now? I grew up with an idea of who Luke was, so the real question is why is Luke on that island? Luke's no coward. He is not hiding from a fight. So there must be some reason that he's there that makes sense to him. That was the first nut to crack. The seed for the entire story was inside that shell. I just had to get it. The Force Awakens might have been a film about Luke Skywalker, but The Last Jedi is Luke Skywalker's film. Missing for decades, his trusty X-Wing rustling beneath the waves, Luke finds redemption in the form of Rey. Luke's X-Wing is in the water on Act 2. Now knowing this, okay, if I don't get a scene where Rey is trying to lift his X-Wing out of the water, I'm going to be pissed, all right? You can't throw that in there and expect me not to expect that. Oh, God. I hope what we see on Act 2 that Rey is trying to lift Luke's X-Wing out of the water. How cool would that be? Like, it would be very reminiscent of Episode 5. I know we don't want to rehash Episode 5, but come on, you have to have that in the film. Oh, you have to have that in the film. Oh, man. Oh, so in this Empire article, we'll move on. In this Empire article, Mark Hamill also chimed in with what Rian Johnson has done. I'm so excited about that. I can't even. Mark Hamill commented on what he wanted out of Luke Skywalker and how it was different playing him in a lot longer time. So Mark Hamill, this is what he says. Luke's changed a lot. It was shocking for me to read what Rian had written, and I am sure it will be for the audience. Yes. I was surprised by the way he saw Luke. To hear him say something like, it's time for the Jedi to end, and I wasn't even sure I agreed with it. Being the caretaker of the character, I have a possessive attitude towards him, but even though it's not the way I would have gone, the more I get into the work, the more I realized I was wrong. Is that Mark Hamill doing lip service for Lucasfilm and Disney, or does he actually mean that? I don't know. Only Mark Hamill and Rian Johnson know his true feelings on what the actual character of Luke Skywalker is going to be. But I'm in. Okay, I love Mark Hamill. I love him to death. He's Luke Skywalker. He's not a writer. Okay, he does not know how to write a film from A to B to C to D. Rian Johnson does. I'm gonna go with what Rian Johnson says. I'm a huge fan of Rian Johnson in the first place, so I'm gonna agree with Rian Johnson. Even though I haven't seen the film yet, I'm gonna say he's probably the right way to go instead of Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's an actor. He knows how to act like Luke Skywalker. He doesn't know how to write for Luke Skywalker. So I've always been on Rian Johnson's side for this from day one. And the last little bit of information here is it's not anything super impactful, but it's interesting to hear him say this. Johnson finds the humor in Star Wars as impactful and important to the story as heavy moments. This is a quote from Rian Johnson. This is the second movie in the trilogy, so it's easy to draw parallels to Empire in terms of a darker feel. And we do dig into the characters. We're going to challenge them, and things are going to get tough for everybody. But I didn't want this to get too dark. One of the things I drew from JJ's film was the sense of fun and playfulness. That's as much a part of Star Wars as I am your father. And I could not agree with him more. I think Rian Johnson has a firm grasp on what the Star Wars universe is, how to write it, how to take these characters and usher them into the final chapter of their story. And this gets me more excited. Well, I can't say that because I don't know. Well, actually I do. I can say that. This gets me more excited. The way he's talking about this film gets me more excited than the trailer did at Star Wars Celebration. Just these little images like Luke's X-Wing being in the water and him just he gets Star Wars. He's a fan. He gets it as a writer. He gets it as a director. I could not be more excited. So, All that being said, which one of these three things that I read, or three or four things, which one of these things we talked about in this video are you most excited about for Star Wars Episode 8? For me, it's 100% the fact that we could see Rey going and trying to lift Luke's X-Wing out of the water, and I'm going to throw this in there, that scene in the trailer you get when she's standing in front of the water, and you see it from like the backside of her, she's standing here looking towards water, and the camera's right here. I wonder if that's what that scene is. Just thought about that right now. So, please, comment down below. I'm very excited. Comment down below about what you think is going to happen in The Last Jedi, what you think about these comments. Hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at @IsDreamyBrad, and we'll talk some Star Wars. We can go deep. I just finished watching Episode 7 again and doing commentary for it. You can check that out on the podcast. You can find it on iTunes and Stitcher, Daily Disney Blog Podcast. Go hit subscribe to that as well. I will see you guys next time. See ya.